Today we're going to learn about parabolic motion, the motion which have an x-coordinate as the constant velocity and the y-coordinate as the vertical motion. Today we learn this is parabolic motion started with the initial velocity. The initial velocity we can have in x-coordinate and y-coordinates, final x and final y. Final x, we have an angle of elevation theta, so final x is final times cosine theta and final y is final sine theta. As you can see, the y movement is a vertical motion, so they will reducing the velocity until it reaches the maximum height. After it reaches maximum height, they will accelerate and it's become bigger number, the velocity. And the x component, they are uniform speed or constant velocity, so it all remain constant at the x component, the velocity. That's parabolic motion. X and y coordinates. As you can see, we have in coordinates in parabolic motions, x and y. So we see the x coordinate. X coordinate movement is a constant velocity. So the Vx is always remain constant, final times cosine theta. So the function of x is final times cosine theta times with time t. That's an x coordinate. So we move to the y coordinate, the vertical motion. Vertical motions, so the velocity is not constant, it changes because of the gravity, acceleration. That's why Vy is final sine theta minus g times t. So the coordinates of y is yo is the initial height plus final sine theta times t minus half times g times t square. This is the y coordinate. That's about the x and y coordinate of parabolic motion. Now we learn about the maximum height. At the maximum height, we learn that the Vy, the vertical velocity component, is 0, but we still have an x component, that final cosine theta, that was still moving parabolic motion. So Vy is equal with 0, we know that Vy is final sine theta minus g times t. So at that time, we get time. This is time interval to reach the maximum height. Time is equal to final sine theta divided by g. So we will learn that y equal with yo plus final sine theta times t minus half times g times t square. We put the time interval to this equation, Then we get the maximum height, final square sine square theta divided by 2g. That's the maximum height of parabolic motion. Now we want to find the maximum distance. We realize that the maximum height, the time that it's going to be is final sine theta divided by g. That's the time needed. So we know the parabolic symmetric. If the maximum height reaches the time of final sine theta divided by g, the time we'll get at the maximum distance is going to be twice. So time is equal to 2 times final sine theta divided by g. So we know that x is final cosine theta times t. We substitute the t inside. Then we get the x maximum is 2 final square times sine theta cosine theta divided by g, or x maximum is final square is sine 2 theta divided by g. You can contact my WhatsApp number if you want to have some explanations. Okay, thank you.